So when we talk about mobile testing, then first picture I can visualize look like this. Mess. Something like nobody understands what it is, black and white, and it's completely some kind of mesh networks messed up. So, and it's really this mobile testing and mobile world is really complex and could be very messy. So it's why I try to divide this in small portion, and I create for you like quick starter for newbies. So what we like must know to get successful and get job quickly and get like really good job quick. Okay, so and it's pretty much my plan for next 6 or maybe more hours if Michael agree with that. So online at least, then we can cover all this subject. So I hope this you already was going through for the last couple of months this basic of software testing. That's why I will not concentrate on this portion. So, but by this time you should know and should cover already software testing principles, software testing techniques, types of software testing, objective of testing, and creation of defect reports. So we need to cover and need to talk a little bit about basic of telecommunication and network, and I will explain why. So we need to be aware about mobile operating system and platforms. It's a very important point. We need to get familiar with your own mobile phones, and it's also, I give you a reason why. So get aware of testing in mobile domain, because it's not just mobile testing of device or application. It's a different approach and different kind of testing. So we need to get aware of types of mobile application testing. Just the simple stuff we already know, like user interface testing, functional testing, performance and stress testing, usability testing, and get aware of specific types of mobile application testing. And I will talk about this, I hope this next week's or follow weeks for at least 2 hours. So we also will go through the sample test cases for mobile application and explore the necessities and capabilities of simulators, because it's a big deal if you don't know anything about this and you like feel like you should know too much, and in reality you really will use this maybe 10% of your life if you get lucky, so work for a specific company. So, and we will talk about popularity of remote device access services, which is very important in these days. So, and I will try to provide you so much as possible, so self-exploration tools and links. So how to explore testing tools, utilities, how to get hands-on automation tools for mobiles. I will try to set up, so maybe just record for you some special webinar. So this how to do and create some logs and retrieve logs and do a screenshot on using Android SDK. So, and the last things I will try to provide you so much as possible, so self-exploration links for communities, forum, blogs, or just helpful information. Then you don't need to spend like me, so 6 months on the internet to searching for these helpful tips and so special secrets. So, and it will be just everything consolidated in one presentation. All right, let's start. So, just to get conceptual vision of how it's work, we need to talk about mobile ecosystem. And I just divide this in simple layers, and we will talk about each layers, and I will also tell you why each layers somehow related to mobile testing and why it's important. So who is operator, carriers, and providers? Actually, we hate these guys, but so they play essential role, fundamental, basic role in the mobile testing. So they are for us to create and maintain specific set of wireless services over a reliable cellular network. And they install, so literally cellular towers, operate cellular networks, make services such as internet available for subscriber, and they also maintain our relationship with us as subscriber by handling billing and support and offering subsidized device, so sales and network through the retail stores. Networks, it could be boring for many people, and it's like, man, why should I start and concentrate on networks? And I give you a couple of reasons why. So first, any mobile testing will not pass it connection and connectivity testing. So this is one of essential and important part of mobile testing. So another things, then when we talk about mobile testing, it's contained three parts. And one of the major parts of mobile testing, it's a mobile protocol stack testing, so which by the way use network simulator. So, but again, we cannot escape network at this part. Third one is ability to save and transfer information. It's based on network, based on GSM, which contains a SIM card or this CDMA connection. So this you will differently create your device and use different application, differently testing, so search testing as integration or compatibility testing. So performance load and stress testing use heavily network ability, network connection in different type of network testing. So then we will talk a little bit later. And the last one point is then pretty much, do you know any device, smartphone these days without some geolocation API? I don't really. So, and that's why it's another good point. So why should we go through the network? Okay, so let's go through the network. I'm not really technical, so deeply technical in advance in some Go, and I try to explain this always with my own word, so then everybody can understand what it is and why we need it. So, and actually cellular technology, it's just a radio, so that receive a signal from antenna. And the types of radio waves and antennas determine the capability of the network, differentiate the services. So, and it's funny, this with all our super technology we have in the hand, around the world, if we take this globally, so this basic networks is still GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication, and CDMA, Code Division Multiple Access. So what is really some differentiation between these two, so distinguish a feature? And if we talk about GSM, then primarily this providers who are associated with this network, it's AT&T and T-Mobiles. It's kind of slow, some like old technology is the most advanced you can get from, so this GSM, it will be 2.5 or 3G technology, and it's referred to GPRS and H. But if the distinguish feature and actually advantage of it, so then with GSM you have SIM card, then you can just replace it, take it out of your device, and if you go outside the country, for example, so you can just replace and buy some local SIM card and place it in your phone and just use your phone for good, so until you're done with your vacation. You don't need to use expensive roaming services. So if we talk about CDMA, then it's primarily related to Verizon and Sprint. It's 5 times faster than GSM. So, and actually it's more secure because in the beginning it was designed for military use. Naturally, we're talking about speed at this point. In standard speed for GSM, it's between 128 kilobits per second to maximum 480 kilobits per second. And if we're talking about CDMA, then there's a much better speed, so 500 kilobits per second up to 2.5 megabits per second. So what is this, all these beats, why I need to really know this? So because it's all about speed, it's how you transfer, how you retrieve your data. So how this fast you can save your data. I mean, how fast you can operate with some simple things that we like use every day, not just call, but SMS or send email or some create some document and send this document somewhere, or upload something from internet. For example, how big could be file, some audio, some music file. It's around, so the shortest song maybe like 5 megabits, so up to 12 megabits. So that's how long it takes to download a song like this on your phone. Okay, with technology like this, then it will take up to 1 minute. But if we go to 4G, and we will talk about this in a minute, so then it will take you a couple seconds. So, and it's what is enhancement of this speed feature. It's what is right now very driven point for all this new technology, for new devices. So when we talk about network, then we cannot escape satellite. And satellite was one of the first wireless connection. It was created in Get Advanced in 1990s, and actually this was the best advantage. It's still very useful. So around United States, so somewhere in rural and suburban areas where it's not really so develop all this infrastructure of network yet. So in compared to other form wireless internet services, satellite is available everywhere. All what you need, just small dish and antenna, so satellite modem and subscription plan, and boom, so you're already in. Yeah, it's still slow. It's still so have some disadvantage of latency, high latency because of delay, so connection to the long distance signal. But so it's something then nice to have when you live somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Another things, it's come really often, so during interview, specifically when it's company work with some geolocation application or GPS directly. So it's coming 75%. They will ask you just simple question. So how many satellite you need to get some good coordinate? So this how many GPS satellite is around Earth right now, and things like that. So I just submit and collect for you the simple information. Then you just have some, at least, you know, some generic perspective of subject. So, but the thing you should know and must know these days, I mean, before when it's GPS just started, and it was only 24 satellite around the Earth, they was just divided like so this in 3 sections around the globe, and it was 8 satellite on each section. So now they create so divide this in 6 sections around the Earth, 4 satellite in each section. So, but the catch is again, without any technicality, but very simple explanation. So satellite is not moving around the Earth. They pretty much have fixed position. So Earth is still moving, but satellite is stays still. In if we look at this in compare with Earth. So and the catch is then we have the word, I somewhere have this word. Oh, here it's called constellation. So because each of these satellite have specific secure position against celestial combination of stars, really some far away from Earth. So it's why this they less imprecise, so have specific place, and you know then it will not move so inch back and forth or left and right, up and down. So in as December 2012, so this GPS 3 is running right now under government program. So this have 32 satellites, which allowed, specifically we can see this on iPhone 5. So this allowed with precise show this not just coordinate, not just show this perfect timing, but show you, for example, if you're looking for office in New York building and it's supposed to be somewhere on the 17th floor, so it will show you exactly not just the street, not just the building, but so 17th floor, this exactly where this office supposed to be. It's actually very cool. So yeah, it's naturally come just not alone, because right now this it's GPS work with some agreement, and you know they use a combination of GLONASS, which is a Russian global navigation satellite system. So and it's on the way European Union Galileo positioning system. So China and India also involved in this project. So it's actually pretty much like creating of global GPS system, we can say in big words. So another very common type of wireless network is the Wi-Fi. So everybody knows this, and it's so-called mesh networks, which is just a combination of enormous small points, antennas, so this which just transmit and accelerate radio waves, different frequency, different attitudes, so this from point to point. So it's very common because its equipment is inexpensive, as many new computers and mobile devices already have built-in hardware, and we talk at this point of some terms which you should know, and it's called tethering. So you can use your mobile device as a Wi-Fi hotspot as well. Student was asking me in the class, like, okay, why I need it? I mean, I understand I can't do it, but why? And I was just like stuck with good examples, so now it's like I create a good example. So one of those good examples, you go to the park. So, your device is covered, so you have Wi-Fi coverage, you have internet connection on your mobile device, on your phone. But if you have laptop or if your child have gaming console, so then it's already out of range, and you sometimes will have hard time to find some Wi-Fi hotspot, or you need to just sign with some password or whatever. So if you use your cell phone as a hotspot device, so you activate through the settings tethering mode, so then you just connect any other device through the USB or Bluetooth or using Wi-Fi to your phone, and you can use your internet. So just share your internet data with other devices, mobile or not, it doesn't matter. But I think it's very cool, and specifically for another example, if you go to the ocean, so this or you go to the forest, somewhere like that, I think it's a very good, very useful feature. The last type of wireless network that we concentrate, it's a mobile broadband. Actually, not last, but at least. It was, yeah, I covered tethering. All right. We should just generic, I don't want to overload you with type of cell modems and things like that, but it's good things to know. It's a generic things, then this to understand how it's a concept. Why we should know this? Because when we create test cases, or we have some problem and we need to find some solution, or we start and create some some troubleshooting. So if we understand how it's work, then we can create test cases around this. We can also check some additional stuff and understand what is running on background of our application and what is could create a problem. So at this point, it's good to know then there's three main types of cellular modems exist today. So one of this, it's a cell phone itself through the tethering service. So there's another one, it's a network adapter, so cellular cards, called also air cards, and the third one is the network routers. So now we come to a short history of network from 1 to 4G. So first one was just analog signal that used by cellular tower. So 2G, it's a technology upgrade to analog signal to digital and allowed the inclusion of sending text messages across the network. 3G was technically, if we look how it was made, so technical wise, so starting to use electromagnetic wavelengths, so known as spectrum, so to broadcast wireless broadband signal that allowed access to internet, and we started downloading things to our mobile devices. 4G is called ultra broadband, and its work just based on all internet protocol packet switching instead of circuit switches technology. So then it's a multi-carrier transmitter methods, and we use like frequency domain equalization. So this method to instead of spread spectrum radio technology. You don't need to really remember all these details, but you need to understand then it was every time we have generation, it's called generation for a reason, because it's a breakthrough. We're starting using different way of utilize how we receive and how we transmit a signal between 2 points. So, and things you should know, and one of the must things, so you need to know at least some abbreviation for 3 and for 4G technology. For example, this such as Edge and HSDPA for 3G, and VMAX and LTE for 4G broadband. So one more thing, then, we start build our professional vocabulary, and it's very important, because if you know how to use this word and you use it, so you may, escape some really difficult technical question, because if you talk in the same language with person who interview you, so they may just understand and you already in a subject, you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and they will not ask you too much. Okay. So I just leave it for you this because you can read and I can read, but so it's beside the point. We don't need this no like right in a second, but I hope that you will view this presentation later, so right before you go to the field. So, and the last things then when you talk about mobile network, you remember I was talking about all these numbers and how cool and wonderful it could be. So yeah, when we talk about 4G LTE, so long-term evolution, the potential speed of transmitting data or receiving data, it could be up to 1 gigabit per second. It's enormous. So can you imagine then, for example, full-time 2 hours movie, it's about 4 gigabytes. So then boom. In what, 4 seconds you will download full-size movie on your phone. It's cool. I mean, I don't know this. So right now, I read the last article somewhere in end of December. Then maximum speed they so far go through, and it depends also not just on device, but mostly on compatibility, soft and hardware. So, but it was 570 megabits, but it's very cool. So in 10 seconds you pretty much done with download full-size movie. It's a cool. So now we need to talk about manufacturer. And again, very simple subject. Everybody. So point number one. Many people somehow interchange manufacturer and operators. It's two different things, and it can cost you also interview or just you will get close the door so for new job just because you will somehow messed up these two simple terms. So manufacturer, it's the guys who produce devices and not who distribute networks or sell you this device. Okay, and why we should know how really important makers and manufacturer and mobile testing could be. So this point number one, then based on manufacturer and how they develop and their vision of product, so they create or maintain or choose specific operating system hardware and firmware software, I mean. So, and they also, mobile platform, mobile browsers depends on the manufacturer choices. Devices itself, because the way of future technology, what way does and how the device will look, or many other factors, all depends on manufacturer. So, and also at the end, the model and approach of mobile testing will also depends on manufacturer. It's why it's important. So again, when it's come to the point, and if during interview somebody will ask you, its question could be sound like this: hey, so what devices you was used for your testing? And when they ask devices, they don't ask you what carrier was it. It's like secondary or third things point. So the major things, then they want to hear HTC, LG, Motorola, whatever. So then they ask for makers. Okay, so now we come to devices. Very easy and at the same time very complex point. Why? Because when we come, how's important in mobile testing, mobile devices could be. First we'll talk about form factor. It's not actually very difficult term in terminology. I can give you examples. So we all remember some first mobile phones like some candy bar or some swivel, or we have this touch screens, smartphones these days, or we have game consoles like a taco form. So it's all what this form factor is, but based on form factor, we also need to adjust our UI. So we also create the special specification for resolution. So for accelerometer factors, which is rotation. So from orientation, so from portrait to landscape. So many features and options could be also related. So based on mobile device. So UI, I already named it, and also target and testing planning. What mobile devices we should choose? What mobile devices is most important for testing for our specific product? So, and it's actually many different types of mobile devices. Then people primarily, when we talk about mobile devices, everybody think about mobile phone, and actually it's much more than that. It's mobile computers, So digital still camera, digital video cameras, pagers, personal navigation devices, tablet, and mobile phones, all these groups consider mobile devices. And when we talk about mobile computers, so it's not just mobile internet devices, but it's mobile web, personal digital assistant, calculator, so game console, and portable media player like iPod, and mobile collaboration. So this, it's all considered mobile devices. And actually this many times people ask me question, so what is a mobile collaboration? It's like some very scientific word. Actually, it's nothing more than, this some special devices in kind of like a tablet, so for video conference or for some presentation where you can just during video conference and meeting use your pen and create some graphs and do something on a tablet and everybody can see it. So now we come to big portion and very important, I can say one of the most important portion in mobile ecosystem. It's the platforms and operating system. My goodness, why we need them? I mean, it could be boring for somebody, but if we get some fundamental and set up so this base, so then everything will be easy, because it will be like stuck in a pile, this of very simple stuff which come together and you create some beautiful pyramid. So, but why we need platforms in mobile testing? It's because based on platform we create mobile features. So we also create some standard or pre-installed, so we can say native application. So GPS heavily related on platform settings, so we can also choose what kind of device it will be, multitasking, threading, or it will be real, so runtime, things like that. So email is also very depends on platform. So switching between apps, how this connection and how this things is going, it depends on platform. Network connection, UI. And also when we come to just simple stuff like some app store, what we have for iStore for iPhone or Google Play for Android. So this, what is submission requirement? What is developer specification or user guide or number of application? It's all depends on platform. It's why it is important. Okay, so, and what do you know about mobile platform? Term could be very confusing because many people interchanges and use like under 5 different meanings. But generally, in our case, it's just the hardware architecture and soft framework together, included the application framework. Some special combination of components that allows software, application software to run. And typical platforms include computer architecture, operating system, programming language, and related to user interface as well. So, and I always, I just wipe it out, so this from this small schema that I created, so, and ask people to guess, like, okay, tell me what platform is that, just by looking at, just to see the components, so what its platform it could be. So can you guess? Anybody know? Anybody can answer? Or you just like, no. Okay, I will count until 10. Count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. And it was Android. Why? So because in the middle, it's a distinguished feature of Android so platform and operating system. It's a Dalvik virtual machine. So if you read just on the right side, core Java libraries. So Java is a core language for so Android platform. Duh. Thank you. It's all in Russian alphabet. I cannot read the things. So, and the first one distinguished feature, it was Linux kernel. And Linux is so this kernel for Android. Thanks. Okay, cool. Hey, you was late, but I love you anyway. So, and okay, we go ahead with that. We will talk about, we come back to this operating system later because we cannot escape. It's a very cool point. So, and I like to talk about this. So you remember that I told you that many people, and it's also can happen in the field when you go to the first interview or whatever. So they will kind of, just sometimes it's especially confuse you, sometimes just because they use this under different meanings. So it's okay when people talk to you about platform to ask them, so what do you mean in this particular case? So because platform could be conceptual mobile architecture, like I told you, all together. So this like hard and software components all together. So it could be just talk about platform as an operating system. So they can talk about platform from application development base view. They can talk about platform just only kernel, and primarily this most popular these days it's Unix and Linux. So or they just refer to platform as a core language. So just ask, do not afraid to ask. We need to cover a little bit types of mobile platforms. Then you just, it's again general conceptual understanding. You don't need to remember all names, but you should know then it's 3 types of mobile platforms: license, proprietary, and open source. So license, it's pretty much a platform. Yeah, it's right here. So the idea was, just create some standard. So this for application programmer interfaces for API development. So then, then it's work in interchange between many different devices and makers and company. But idea actually just failed because, this this involvement of open source, people less and less use so this license platforms. But the most famous and important is Java Me, which was run under Sun Microsystem, and now it's Oracle. And actually this here's a marketing story. So then why Android certainly got one of the main distinguished component, so Dalvik virtual machine. So because we know then core language for Androids is Java. So then if they really use Java language, then they should pay some special license fee, so meet some requirements from Sun Microsystem and Oracle. So naturally, this Google was not really excited to pay some fee and go through some requirements and restriction and whatever. So this it's why they create pretty much so customized virtual machine, and they clone Java, put this through this virtual machine, and it's because and it's become customized Java language. So now they not obligated to pay any fee to do anything. So this with Oracle, because they have their own product, their own language. So it's all marketing things, and you should know that. So another one of the cool license platform is BrewMP, and actually they very improved themselves. They was very popular back when it was not the era of smartphone but feature phone, and there was primarily so firmware platform for AT&T and Verizon. But it's still there, so AT&T and Verizon still use Brew, but now this Brew signed contract with HTC smartphones, and it's gained popularity again. Okay, so this next one is a proprietary platform. Again, don't worry about name. Sometimes people confuse by name. So it's best example you can give. It's Apple or BB RIM, so which is BlackBerry. It's a one company. You don't have tens of different makers, so it's all concentrated under one roof. So the company creates soft and hardware. It means then it's a very secure, and it's also the very good compatibility between soft and hardware. It's pretty much everything is licensed under requirements and special specification requirements and documentation, but in the same time, in quotes we can say that it's assumed and it's supposed to create some high quality product. So then everything is improved, everything is compatible with everything. So this your native application is running together. So and battery usage must be better and things like that. Everything's supposed to be better. So but again, proprietary platform, it's just a trade name under one roof. And the last things then we have about to talk about platforms. It's an open source platform. It was created back in 2007. 34 companies come together, and Google was ahead of in a major company. So and create open handheld alliance. So and that's why this the first Android was created in the same time. So in the principle of open source, then it's like share community, barter community, you can say. Then source is open, everybody can download, alter or edit a source, and you share not just source material but blueprint, documentation, end of product. You collaborate this between different companies, so in it's no cost to the public. It's what the main idea of open source. Okay, so now this, when we go through this all platforms, you know, this you should know, if I wake you up at midnight, so then you should name me at least 4 platforms with one breath. I understand this first choice will be Android and iOS X, but so I need a little bit more. So give me another 2 platforms, then you know. Count down. Come on, guys. I know we have online class, but so I really appreciate. Okay, Windows what? It's not just Windows. It must be very careful with Windows. Linux. Okay, Linux, but specific. Linux will be operating system, and it will be platform, but very popular in China and not really popular in United States. So Symbian. Okay, dying things, you can say it, but it will be disappeared as a Symbian platform in 2016. So you have really a couple of years so to talk about Symbian. What else? Good. I can see them teaser. Good job, man. Who are you? Sharan Kaur. I love this guy. So at least somebody. So because Tizen, I think it's a very promising thing. If you know about Tizen, so you will get a good job. I guarantee you already. So Windows Phone, it's a right answer. Don't mess up with, thank you too. So with Windows Mobile, because Windows Mobile was discontinued in 2010. And guys, please just dissolve this name out of your brain. Don't use Windows Mobile at all. So if we talk about Windows Mobile platform, we talk about Windows Phone. Okay, doc. Cool. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I don't know that. I mean, guys, it's like ragazzi in Italian, so it's everybody's, so it's between the so gender, okay? I don't try to embarrass somebody. So, all right, yeah, here are the choices. You should, naturally, will not escape Android and OS X. So, you see, it's a little bit confusing point. I need to clarify it right ahead. So, we have, as a platform, OS X. As operating system, it's iOS. Yeah, beta is part of Tizen now, but it's still good. So in some way in Asia, in South Korea. The catch was come back to this OS X, iOS, and iPhone platform. So what happening then when iPhone was created, and it was back in 2007, so then they don't have any other product like iPod, iPad. So it was... and they actually don't have any name for platform until 2008 when SDK was going to distribute for everybody. It's why this, you know, when they distribute SDK in 2008, it's like, okay, so we name our platform iPhone. And it was iPhone platform until 2010. So until 2000, because in 2010 when they start create heavily this iPad, so and iPods and Apple TV. So then they decide, oh, it's not just a phone. We have more product which is like mobile. So it's why they renamed this to iOS. So, but again, why I tell you and spend so much time on this, because at some point, at some company, people still will call this iPhone. And at this point, it's again, it's not a dumb question, and you actually showed and you in subject to know what you're talking about. If you can ask them, hey guys, so this, what you mean just right now, this you mean iPhone as operating system, or it's just as device you're talking about? So, and if they're like, so what, you don't know operating system? And you can tell them story and show this, then you know what you're talking about. Yeah, this webinar will be available later. I hope. I never know. So, if you see this, yeah, Sharan was talking about Tizen. So, you know, it's very popular in Asia. So it's super popular in China. It's just come here So this on the market in the United States. But if we look global-wise, not just United States, so the Tizen should be on the place number 4, so ahead of Windows Phone, because worldwide share it's 8% Tizen and 4.9 Windows Phone. All right, but anyway, just to cover and close this platforms issue, you should just have put this template in your brain and know at least 4 names for any. You can choose any one of these platforms. Okay. So now, just very quick clarify confusion. So why is operating system equal to platform? I found very good picture of how this Eiffel Tomb was built, and I think it's a very good explanation. So we all understand then base, it's a fundamental thing, it's a platform. So that's is something upon what programs and application so could be installed and used. An operating system is no more than some set of first executed some software program that that let your computer run and control so the some most basic function. So, and if you just just try to again set some simple explanation for yourself, then you don't get confused at any moment. So if you talk about platform, just think about Windows and Mac. So it's like 2 basic big things. But if you talk about operating system, then we just use like different version of Mac and Windows. So I hope, I don't know, for me it's easy to understand this way. All right. So, and we already talked about open and closed mobile system. It's very important to understand that open world not required any fee, any license. So, and it's pretty much still 75% of Android application is for free, or you can find analog to any payable application as a free version. So if we talk about proprietary system like iOS or BlackBerry RIM, so then boom. So developers and manufacturers, I mean this hardware as semiconductor makers, so they need to meet some certain requirements to get to get lucky to get in. As a simple example, so developer, before they start to submit any application, doesn't matter it will be successful or not, so they may not come through all this process of requirements, so then the application finally will get to App Store, but so the license itself already $100 in a year. I mean, it's a start with small, but fee here, fee there, maintenance fee, service fee, requirements here and there. So it's all together will build some summary at the end. So very quickly and short, again, you don't need to really right now to remember all the technical details, so you can always review this right before interview or whatever this if you need it. So that just to remember and understand the major principle of types of operating system. We have real-time OS, so then this real-time programs must guarantee response with strict time constraint. An example this to remember easy where this is most useful, so it's related to virtual machine or embedded systems, so like Linux. If we're talking about multi-user operating system, again, it's related to servers or cloud services. So we have multitasking operating system. It's what primarily we see and use every day on our mobile devices. And we have like more advanced multi-threading operating system that even smarter, so because it's allow different part of different program run concurrently. So, and that increase performance of high extent. Okay, so Android is still #1, and not because the best one, I don't say that, but they #1 because of this open source so system that they have. Pretty much every maker can implement without additional cost or whatever, some special requirements, some proprietary or customized part from this maker inside Android's operating system or Android platform, booms, and it's already become Android. So, and it's all start back in October 2008, and Google published the entire source code, included network and telephony stack, which is like top high secret for other guys, so under Apache license. So why I use this keyword, Apache license or Apache server? It's a keyword. If you see in job description, when you look for job, something, somewhere it's pop up word Apache, it's immediately ring bell in your head. Aha, somehow this job will be heavily related to Android platforms. I better look for this more. I better search more information regarding this subject, because 100% I guarantee they will go this direction during interview and ask you something about that. So, and you again, you show your knowledge. So you need to learn and adjust this keyword. Also, if you look for just job description or job requirement. So this, if you see, for example, Xcode, what is Xcode related? I mean, I have no clue about Xcode maybe itself, but by just see this name, I understand then somehow this product or this company heavily, and again, the special target interest is with iPhone, so Apple product, because Xcode, it's developing, so this platform is for iPhones. So if we see this, some keyword like XNA or something Silverlight, Blooms, we know then it's somehow, so this company plan or already work with Windows phones. So, and things like that, this, it's special clue, then they live everywhere, specifically in the job description or job requirements, then will help you to prepare for interview also if you don't have too much information. So then skip it. You don't need to learn too much about BlackBerry, because more likely they will not talk about BlackBerry at all. But so will point in some special direction for Windows Phone or for iPhone or for Android. All right, describe Android operating system. I highly recommend to create some special, again, template, because during interview we're all nervous, or just sometimes it's very hard to remember all information, and it's a lot of updates, and you can just never start any answer from detail. This always start from the top of the iceberg, like very nothing specific but very broad definition. So this broad information, then and if you create some special template, so then it will be easy for you. You, instead of answering and jumping from one detail to another, it's like, man, do I already repeat myself or what? So you just create a story and tell them story, and I guarantee you they will stop your story in 30 seconds, because it's a smooth answer. It's like, oh, cool, just they're already in the subject, they know what's going on. So when we describe Android operating system or any other operating system, we start with source. What is Android's operating system source? It's open. So platform, so it's based on Linux. All right. So core language, Java. So what is distinguished feature of operating system architecture? And I already named you. It's three major components. We have Java core libraries, we have Dalvik virtual machine, and we have Linux kernel. And we have bunch, like really big bundle of libraries related to media, audio, 3D graphics, and whatever you name it. So, but it's not really hard. So version history, it's one of the things you must know. If you need to memorize, I don't know how long it takes, but so these things will cost you good job if you don't know. And it's a very critical point. I can give you many examples of my good friends who was completely prepared for a good interview and know, like, I don't know, very advanced stuff that I will never remember and know. But so they was just skip it, these small things like version history of Android, and conversation was very simple. Nobody tried to think you, but like, hey, so what devices you was testing in 2010? And she's like, oh, we was just so testing some so-and-so Android. It's like, yeah, so what version you start? Like, oh, Gingerbread. It's like, oh, okay. So how old is your son? Oh, where you come from? So you look very nice. I will call you. Yeah, it never happened again. So it was done. So and just because, so she should know, then Gingerbread was not existing, so 2010. And things like that. So this, and I create, don't worry, this you covered. So in this presentation, I create special table for you, which you, I don't know, print it, put in your bathroom, and every morning, so stare of it with one eye, and just maybe in 1 week you will remember all this version, nickname, and when it was released. So it's one of the must point. Actually, you can use your bathroom very well. It's a really lot of walls around, so you can post it to some very specific information, and it will be very helpful. Okay, so when you like out of subject, don't know what to talk about operating system, people like to talk about updates and upgrades. So, and again, generally, this you start at this point compare with something. So again, logically, we know that Android is very huge. It's mean lot of makers, lot of carriers, lot of different devices. It's 100 of different devices. So and everybody, it's no standard because everything is open. Every do whatever they want. So it's mean then upgrades and updates will be not easy process. And why? Because some certain Androids keep and not upgrade so they versions. And you know this, or some makers choose only specific phone to upgrade to next version or whatever, jump over version. If you like and you have some latest models like 4.0 ice cream sandwich or 4.1, 4.2 for jelly beans, yes, it will be go further, which means firmware over the air. It's a special term that you should know. So photo, search in internet. But in this case, then you lucky you just wake up and next morning, boom, you have already updated version. It's everything happened over the night over internet. But again, if you're not lucky and you have like 1 year old phone and go to feel it was okay, in gingerbread case, you get lucky and it's more compatible, then you maybe upgrade to 4.0. But if it was 2.2 Froyo or, okay, cupcake, I don't think then somebody have cupcake, but, you know, there's some really old version, 2.1, boom. So you pretty much history. It's a very painful process to upgrade. You need to go to maker side, to carrier side. You maybe need to do just physical appointment and wait 3 days in the line. So until you get this in, then they just somehow reset to manufacturer settings to get upgrade to 2.3 and from 2.3 to 4.0. I mean, you just, when you just imagine how much time it's take and how much effort it's take, it's like, ah, whatever, I stay with 2.2. So, but anyway, you can talk about this, and it's, we talk about makers. It's about 80 makers around the world who work and produce somehow Android products. So, and good to talk about carriers because we talk about United States at this point. So in United States, it's officially 369 carrier and mobile device distributors. So 98% work with somehow with Androids. It's a, and the last things then we can talk about live battery. Again, it's a logic because it will be never perfection between soft and hardware. So we talk about Android generally because of this different non-standard open source things that happen and all this variety of devices. So this doesn't matter how they try to prove live battery. It will never be in precise and then compare this better than, for example, like Apple or some proprietary system like BlackBerry. So because they work in exactly and they look their product always together as hard and software. So, and web browser is my favorite subject. We will talk about this in a minute, but it's a good thing to brag in when you talk about Android operating system and show your knowledge, and I will tell you a story about it in a minute. Boom. So, here's a picture of operating system, and I will not repeat myself. So, here's a special table for you with all the special nickname from cupcake to jelly bean. And yeah, keep attention because, so this guys was correct me this last Friday. So then in between in November it was another version of jelly bean. They still call this jelly bean, that's why I miss it. So but it's now not 4.1 but 4.2. Oh, I hope I correct my slide. So most common Android version is still gingerbread. Why? Because we're talking about Android around the world, and in many third world country, it's just technology is not so advanced to have 4.0 or 4.1 so on the market. I don't put 4.2 because it's only like 0.2%. Not too many people are aware that 4.2 is there, and it's only like latest special. So two of them just promote 4.2. It's why it's not on the list. So, but gingerbread is still most common, and I pull this data on January 6th, and I try to update this like every month. So, yeah. So the latest version is 4.2, common November 13, 2012. And now about Androids. I normally just try to make some special performance and tell like, hey guys, what do you think, how many, so Android browsers so could exist and whatever, so this, how many browsers on the market. You know, I discovered this by myself 6 months ago, and I was like, wow, really? So it's actually around the world, it's about 100. In United States, popular about 20. So, catch. First, we do have default browser for Android, and it's Web Android. The problem is, it's advantage and disadvantage of all these open source things. So you can choose your default browser, and it's choice of the maker, of the carrier, or of the user. So you can just completely vanish Web Android if you don't like this as a browser. The thing is, you can add so many browser you want. It's very common also during interview. It's one of the most common question. So that because it's related, like, okay, so according to your resume, you was working with mobile devices and doing some mobile testing back, blah blah blah, year, so and so. So then, what device you was used at this time, and so what browser you was used for testing at this time. Boom. So go this field and you start, talk about if you have some project on mobile, using mobile devices in 2011 or just in beginning 2012, and your favorite browser at this time was Google Chrome. Your history, it was my best friend in Adobe. She lost it just because, so she was completely 100% sure that Google Chrome is the best browser ever. Yeah, it's good browser. It's gained popularity very quick, but as the mobile version, it's come on June 28, 2012, and her interview was in May 2012. Boom, it's done. So, and again, why I give you choices, and if you see this on the screen, it's here couple links, then it will save you time. You need to go to these links and explore a little bit more about the specific browsers. So they will ask you just what browser you was used, and the next question, which is just like logical again. So what is your favorite, or like what you like in this one and don't like in this one? You need to compare it to browser. So to prevent this question, if you don't want to go to some technical detail, you don't have time to learn all this, so go to the links on the bottom of this slide. So, and just choose what is better for you, what is easy for you to remember and understand. So my favorite is Dolphin because it was inventor of gesture feature on the phone. So then, for example, you just, slide, not a slide, you just write on the screen letter F, and it's referring to Facebook. I think it's cool. So some people like Opera Mini. It's a very popular. Mozilla Firefox, it's just finally improve and starting to get better because they are on a mobile version since 2009, but because of this special famous add-ons of Mozilla, it was never gained popularity because during installation it was hang, freeze, or whatever, never finished because of this enormous add-ons, and people was pissed off, and they was just never finished and deleted and uninstalled before it was complete. So, but again, take your time, explore it. One more thing is you need to understand principle, so conceptual things, how it's work. So how is it possible that in some small mobile device you can have so many browsers? So the thing is, then if we look for application framework part of all this mobile system, so then we have layout engine, and it's pretty much like template. Based on this template, you can just customize and build your own browser, and that's what many people do. Most popular layout engine in the world, it's a WebKit. So naturally it was invented by Apple, like a lot of good things. So it's now just completely adjusted primarily so layout engine for Android. Nokia uses in a half product, BlackBerry. So I mean, pretty much it's why it's most popular. But if we talk about Opera, so Opera layout engine is so Presto. If we talk about Microsoft, what they use Trident. So it's like three major things: Presto, Trident, and WebKit. So again, you can check for more information through the internet, but you need to understand principle, how is it all this variety is built and how is it possible. Okay, so now the same pattern we use and create for iOS. We start with source. So then what is a source? It's a proprietary closed system. Platform is a Unix. So the next one is a core language, and it's Objective-C. So what is so special about iOS architecture? It's actually, not too much. It's just 4 layers with some core services, core languages, and things like that, so media layer. But the most important for us, and most important for us as a tester, it will be Cockatouch. It's application frameworks. So again, it's a bundle of application framework on the top. So where we work as black box and gray box testers. And we will talk about this in a couple of minutes. So again, what is distinguished feature? We, naturally, iOS don't have any virtual machine. So everything was originally developed in the beginning. We should and must know version history. So thanks God, and it's not special nickname, then you need to remember additional information. But it's still, you need to remember, so just what is, just the chronological things, when all this operating system version was released. Maybe not a month, but at least a year. So to not mess up your story, this when what you was testing. So we come back again to updates and upgrades. It was actually always very smooth and easy process for iPhones, because before version 5.0, yeah, I talk about iOS. So it was always going through the iTunes stores. Instead of 5.0, it's for 4S phones. It was just very simple going through the photos, so firmware over the air. Makers, very simple. Apple is an Apple only. Carriers, it's actually a very interesting point, because again, we play a game in the class. It's like, okay guys, give me numbers. So this, how many you think carriers out of 369 work and distribute and have a legal right to distribute so Apple product? And the number is 16 only. So besides the Apple Store, we have AT&T and Verizon. We have special prepaid services like Virgin Mobile and Cricket, and we have, I think, like 12 regional distributor in 14 states who is allowed to distribute and work with iPhones. So you can talk about this. Live battery we already mentioned. It's a logical thing then, because of the high compatibility integration between soft and hardware of iPhones. So live batteries will be very good. So in web browser, you already got it, clue. Yeah, then web browsers could be many. Actually, this you will see this half of the name then popular for Androids is well popular for iPhones. And we will see this in a minute. So I already tell you then iOS is derived from Mac OS X plus combination of Darwin Foundation, so which is Unix system. So here could be also a logical question, and it's happened also 50%. Like, okay, so then what is the difference between Unix and Linux, really? And again, it's all marketing things. Unix was older. It was created in 1969. It was for scientific and military use. Naturally, it was closed proprietary system, so which you not easy really get so on the public. Then in 1991, some crazy student from Finland decided, what the heck, so it should be for public, so everybody should know this code. He just cloned Unix, no more than that. So, and put this through the community, like scream to all the world, hey guys, come on, help me, we can do this better, so we can enhance this Unix, booms. And it actually was successful, crazy idea become very successful. So, and now we have two competitors, Unix and Linux. So I will not mention Objective-C because we already got this. Then Objective-C, it's a primarily core language for iOS. Okay, so very simple. This is the simplest things that I found for just to visualize operating systems of for iPhones, for Apple products. And again, this keyword in all this, it's a Touch. So I create some slides, and you can get some little bit more explanation and information for each of these layers. We don't need to go this through because you will not remember all the specific name in a couple minutes. But if you get really interview and you see in description, if you see in the requirements, then it's somehow related to Apple product. So please come back to this presentation, read this through. It will be very helpful, will save your time. So, and you will see this for Touch, this how it's working, what is exactly involved. This, again, when they will ask you, they will not ask like, man, what you know about Touch? So they will just talk to you, like so they believe you, then you work with that, you know what you're talking about, they believe in your story, they don't try to prove you wrong, but they will operate with this special keyword like push-up notification service, message UI framework. Did you work with message UI framework? It's like, yeah, I work with Cockatoach all the time. Boom! That's it. You escape like 3 or 4 deep technical questions because you just give them the keyword what they want to hear from you. So are you aware of this Cockatoach? So yes, because GameKit framework, naturally, if somebody go to for interview in gaming company, so this you will touch this all the time. So this and somehow do testing with GameKit framework related. So then it means that you already have hands-on on Cockatoach. So here's a table for you need to know all this special version and releases when it was and how it was. So we don't need to just read this all through. It's what you need to print and put in your bathroom for everyday usage, not as a toilet paper, okay? So I know, but we say 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do you
How?
Okay.
Are you guys okay? Nobody fallen asleep, I hope. Okay, so what we skip? So the current latest version of iOS is at 6. So sometimes it's confusing. I hear this every time these people messed up. So the latest iPhone is iPhone 5. The latest iOS, so this operating system is 6. So don't mess up this one, okay? And it's come on the market on September 12, 2012. So when we talk about iPhone browsers, we already mentioned, I already talked about this. So then layout engine for iPhones, it is the same than we have for Android, it's a WebKit. So they catch a little bit difference. We have default browser Safari. Doesn't matter what happened, Safari will be always default browser. You can add to Safari, like make a list, wish list of many other browsers, how many you want. Most of them actually also go through the iStore for free. It's not really just you need to pay money. So, and a lot of people, so again, I told you, I perfectly, so this prefer Dolphin because it's also faster. If you, so it's HD. If you use some YouTube or watch some short movies and you have a good phone, so this Dolphin is a really good choice. Oh, cool. No way boring. It's cool. So, very popular was Atomic Web and Aquari, but now when Chrome come in consideration, then, sorry, so this guys is just go low and low. Sorry, I'm talking too fast. Sorry. So, if we, I need to also tell you about Opera Mini. Because why does people like Opera Mini? If you have low data plan, and you know this how these things work. So the Opera Mini have some special cloud servers or Opera server on the site. Then when you retrieve some information from web, and some of the information, some of website could be huge. So instead of give you full size load of this website, they run this first through the server, compress the file, and give you as a compressed file this website. So what's happening then, it's short size, you use less data and it's go faster. It's how they gain popularity. So again, you can brag about this and that's a good point. And the last things to finish all this operating system story, it's coming very often, so this point of describe and compare Android operating system and iOS. You should create a pattern as well. Sorry, I just drink a little bit of water. So that pattern will be a little bit different. You don't need to go through all the small details. So, but you start with source, and you compare close versus open. You talk about security. Logically, where's the better security? In iOS. Why? Because it's a closed system. They have some special layers of requirements. So the special procedure, and it's go through the different levels of security before, and they also check for compatibility of hardware and software. So an adjustment, so integration. It's like a long process, but it's give better level of security. We talk about platform, and we already describe and we already talk. So this marketing trick between Unix and Linux. We talk about operating system architecture. So very simple in 2 words to explain. iOS doesn't contain any virtual machine. Android distinguish feature as Dalvik virtual machine for customized Java. So, and we also talk about kernel again, this we already just mentioned. And beside that, this, they both have just a bunch of different libraries and frameworks. So it's very similar. So we can compare carriers. I already give you a number, 98% out of 369 for Android and 16 so this for iPhones. And you can always check this who is who, this for example, like for Androids, primarily it's AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. So, but T-Mobile, they just dissolve contract with Apple, so they not renew contract with Apple. So they're not really allowed to sell Apple, specifically in Europe. So we talk about live battery, and we already covered that. And you just mentioned the web browser and can brag about that. So the thing is, create a story, and I guarantee you then you will maybe just stop in 15, 20 seconds somewhere when you just start and talk about operating system architecture. You will never come through the full list to compare, because it will be cool stories they already understand and then why should they listen? So to make this your life easy, I just create a table, another print point for your bathroom. Sorry. But you can use this very well. Okay, so now we come to a very complicated but very cool subject of application frameworks. Because again, the up we go through this ecosystem layers, so then more and more we will be as a tester involved in all this. Because on the level of platforms, yeah, it will be like a test plan meetings or decision making, but our work is really start with application frameworks and go to application and services itself. So frameworks is a collection of pre-made tools and functions such as code library, API, compiler, and tool sets. And again, to understand, you need to make a template set up in your brain, just a simple example, a distinguished example. So then anytime they will ask you, also if you ask, for example, and forgot everything, it's like, my goodness, so I'm so nervous, you can tell them you're nervous. And it's like, all right, so I guarantee you they will ask you, hey, give me some example. Do you know? It's like, yes, I know. I just, all word is just like disappeared out of my head. It's like, all right, give me some example. And the best example is, for example, so platform, Windows CE. So it's when we talk about Windows Phone. Operating system is Windows Phone. Framework is .NET. Or if we talk about Apple products, so this platform is OS X, operating system is iOS, and framework is Cockatouch. So if you give them this example, more likely the people during interview don't try to put you down or, just create some questions. So it's like, oh, he's a bad guy. No, they're just looking for a psychological picture and, okay, this people get, so this forget things or whatever. But if you know example, if you can use this in practical life, so then it's what count. So, and we already mentioned kernel many times. So then it's a main component of the most operating system. It's like a bridge between application and hardware. So whereas the actual this data processing, so between human language and machine code language. All right. So, an application framework is a software database that provides fundamental structure support. So when application is developed. And it's actually nothing new. It started back in 1978, so with Macintosh. So one of the most important things, and we will talk about this next week because I tell you tricks, so how I created this class. So I was a crazy one who was spent 3 evenings and go through the 560 job on the dice.com for the last month to see all requirements and what people really look, this description and requirements of job. So under key search, QA tester, QA mobile tester, and mobile QA tester. So, and believe it or not, but API testing is like very, very high this subject and hotspot in this day. Like 15 organization was asked about API. So you should completely understand what API is, how it's work, and I really encourage you to look for this information on the internet much more than I just give you a couple slides. So, but generally, again, it's API, it's a set of function, classes, libraries, packages, which is like small frameworks that allow programmer to access application services by using programming languages. So again, you need to set up in your brain this, I mean, it's a lot of different level of APIs, so it could be, really to the bottom of the system. So, but again, from tester perspective, we work with lightweight API, so which is like close to application and services. Best example for you will be Google Maps or Twitter or Instagram. So everybody understands the principle. So there's how many small apps, it's 1,000 of apps was so this using Google Maps implemented inside the application. It doesn't matter which way it's applied, as add-ons or it's just like a special template, then where they build their own customized things. But in the beginning, so as a template, so they was working around Google Map. So the same things with Twitter or Instagram. So it's the best example for you to understand where you need to start in digging and what direction. Okay. So and we talk about top apps framework. It's a work for you because you're a lucky one. I think you're really lucky one. So because when I started this a year ago, and not just me alone, but it was a lot of my friends, we don't know where to start. If you open the internet, it's like hundreds of names, and you really don't know what is valuable, what is really important, what is like nobody cared and it exists, or it's another experimental product which they just try to promote and nobody ever really uses things. So I consolidate for you all my findings, and I can support them. This frameworks is really tops. It's when you see this in description, or if you can get more information and explore by yourself about this framework and mention one of, maybe you don't need to mention all of them, God this will, but maybe one of them to your in your luggage is your hot spot in your resume, so that you will get a good interview, you will get a good job. So because it's a hot spot in the market. Okay, so if we go to 5 tops, naturally Cockatouch, we already talked about this. So it's actually this go back to Mac apps from 1985. So originally it was written an extensive objective-oriented version of Pascal, but so after it's converted to C++ and become this Objective-C. So, but Cockatouch does not use any of Flashlight or Microsoft Silverlight. Don't mess up with that, okay? So it's a standalone thing. And again, dig by yourself. So just check this, everything you can find. So the next one is a top 5 application framework. It's Adobe, and very heavy use by Windows and at some point on Androids too. So it's cross-operating system runtime that lets developer combine HTML, JavaScript, Adobe Flash, and Flex technology. So an action script to deploy a rich internet application. So yeah, and this I just so by Christmas I bought Windows Phone for my son. I can really just like testify for that, and it's super cool. So specifically when it's come to the graphic and sound, man. So Adobe really make a difference. So the next one is Android SDK. Well, no, and I hope this again. So if I cannot do this as online class, then I will create some special webinar for you. So then Mike will post specific for your class for online. So then you can just get a hands-on. So how this, because it's a lot of question and a lot of things related. So to how to retrieve or create and retrieve information. So create a log using the Android SDK, and how to make a screenshot using Android SDK. It's not really like high technology or advanced. And funny things, you know, this again, I just mentioned, and I did research. So through all this job description and requirements, so from all 560 companies and so jobs advertisement, only 2 companies was really asking for Android SDK. So, but for some reasons, people still want to know. You know, at some point, it's funny because in the mobile market, it's still in development, and many times companies don't know by themselves what they want, and they just decide and they need to convert or they need to start this mobile project. So, and they're looking for people so this who just bring something or some knowledge. So, and you can give them any story, so they will take it. So, I know. So the other one is very popular. It's Web Runtime, VRTs. So it's used by Nokia and Opera and Yahoo and provide web runs. So it's actually mini frameworks. Most of it, you know, to create some mobile widgets. So, and the last one is the Web 2.0. It's actually, you know, competitor and promising big features. So in one day we will not need providers anymore because of Web 2.0. Oh, I mean, maybe it will be 3.0, 4.0, doesn't matter. But sooner or later, so this, you know, it's this virtual works across all devices and all platforms will get monopolize everything. I really believe in this. So because, and you should know this, explore this, you know, by yourself. Because it retrieves information and stream information right from so the internet every time. So and don't need any so this subscribing services. It's a catch. So another example, again, I don't want to overload you, but so look for this keyword when you look for job description and if you look for requirements. So I just give you clues. You know, this again, people learn different way. If you're not satisfied with top 5, just dig more. Maybe you get interested in this really. So because it's a very good job market for application frameworks. It's more related to gray boxing, but if you somehow have some basic knowledge of some programming language, I will highly recommend go this direction. So, and one of some couple more things, then definition you should know. I already mentioned fragmentation, and fragmentation it was primarily associated with Androids because of this huge variety of carriers, huge variety of makers. So, and it was inability for developer to write once and run for anywhere on any device. But again, with new technology, it actually was breakthrough in the beginning of 2012 when HTML5 come across with CSS3. So then, you know, you got a possibility so with and also this era of hybrid application start, and we will talk about this next week. So then, you know, this fragmentation is not really a big issue, but you still should be aware of this. So another this big term, it's know what is SDK is, software developer kit. And it's again, it's not just a kit. As kit, it's some programming package that enable programmer to develop application for specific platform. It's people, I mean, if you ask what SDK is, they will tell you so the description, and they will immediately associate this with Android. So in reality, you know, pretty much like SDK, it's for each platform, and it's why I provide you this special link. So for most common major platform in the United States, for iPhone, for Android, and Windows, you can compare. You can just so look is it true, and to better understanding what this SDK is and how it's work. So another term then you should know, and it's a lot of confusion. We have like 3 terms. We have rooted, unrooted phone, we have lock, unlock, and we have jailbreaking. Somehow people interchanges all and messed up all together. So, and it's actually 3 different things. So rooted and unrooted. Unrooted phone, it's just have preset operating system configuration, and you're not able to change system settings. Rooted phone means then you pretty much got some administration rights, and you can so change settings and configuration of your phone. It's one thing. So now when we talk about lock and versus unlock phone, unlock phones, it's mobile phones that could be used any GSM network with interchangeable SIM cards. And that's why it's a big distinguished feature. So no matter which carrier makes the card, the phone will be able to recognize and send voice and data over the network. So in contrast with locked phone, it's bound to specific cell phone service provider. So this is bound to some special contract and you tie it. So now when we call about jailbreaker, then it's primarily this go and refer to iPhones. And it's, what is this? It's a process of adding unofficial application installer to your iOS device with the purpose to gain access to many third-party application and extensions that normally is unavailable through the App Store, so which not pass requirement or whatever. And you can install some special extension that give you instant access to your system settings. It's not like if you jailbreak your phone, then you immediately get some administrators, gain administrator privileges. You can just find some special extensions, so then bypass certain application restriction. So, and actually this is just for your FYI, this, you know, it's not illegal in United States. It's illegal in Europe, but it's a legal, somehow, point of freedom in United States. So, but I will not really promote myself as a jailbreaker. I did this mistake when I was apply so this back to Mercedes-Benz infotainment, which is heavily related on iPhone application. And this was very cool interview, guys. It was very cool. So, and there was like in between the question was asking, like, okay, sir, and how is like your jailbreaking looking? It's like, oh yeah, I tried this couple times. So first time it's taking a couple hours. Second time was bad. It's like, ah, cool. So you cool girl, but they never call me back. It's like, oh shoot. It's like I answered all question right. What the heck? So because again, if you and it's never repeat my mistake again. So, but you understand, if company work with iPhone or Apple product, you never bragging how good you are to jailbreak things, okay? So just keep it this later when you get hired. So, and another thing then people confuse a lot, and it's like a little bit more deep and digging and technical level, but you should know and understand this. So it's because question could be very simple. So what do you know about interpreter and compiler? So this pretty much almost the same. So they both translate and execute machine code. So to somehow to, you know, just to let program running. But so this the distinguish between them. So interpreter translate machine code and execute it on fly when program is running. And compiler translates the program to machine code in advance by executing stored file that can be proceeded as separate step. So, I mean, maybe confusing, read this 3-4 times if my accent is wacko and wired. So, but I hope at some point you will understand conceptually how it's works. Because again, when we come to talking about operating system and why for some reason this some program is freeze, hang, or specifically if you go direction for infotainment, for entertainment or gaming. So why at what point game is stop, freeze, pause, and what happened behind the scene? And it's many times it will be related to interpreter and compiler. How the information is concurrently running during application process. So what happened, so where this information will be stored, or how this information will be fetched ahead. So for example, if you just streaming some movie or whatever, or some game level ahead. So it's why it's all these small boring things that, man, why I should know, I can skip it. No, this skipping will cost you, again, some very good job in interview. So I learned this by my mistake as well. So it's like, okay, I will skip this time. Oh, shoot, I better know. I remember how it's worked, but who is who, I don't remember. So, and I really highly recommend you to build some professional language. So, because if you use this simple word when you explain things, you look better, you sound better, you're really professional. So then, and you know, it's gained you some special respect. So then you really know what you're talking about. You don't use some word, you know, I just take my finger, I just swipe it, or I just touch it. So I mean, yeah, you can explain this. Yeah, people will understand you, and at some point, yeah, I understand, and we have some English restriction or whatever. But hey, it's much better if you say this simple word like compile, debug, deploy. Okay. So the last point, and we pretty much, I mean, I can continue. I don't know this. I need for your replay. Like, are you guys already boring? So it's too much. So your brain is already burned or what? So, but we still need to cover. So file extension, and again. So this you need to know. It's one of the must things. Simple extension for Android. It's an APK, so it's a single one, and we use .dex if it's we're talking about some zip file for Android. It's a Delvic executable. Oh, very good, cool. So, and when we talk about iPhone file extension, then primarily iPhone file extension is .ipa. So, and if we're talking about compressed file, it will be .zip. So, and here's a like small catch. If you run application, iPhone application on simulator, so you need to know then it's actually you cannot really run IPA file on so directly on simulator. So you need to go through the Xcode SDK. So because of this special, you know, so Intel processor things. So again, point is, and I catch this just from lately, so from to my friends, they was going actually, again, company was entertainment for companies, they was doing and processing some different application. So if you go against some, a lot of company use some audio file like some internet radio or something, so they will ask you 100% for some file extension or with what file extension you was working. And I create for you like 5 or 6 slides on a row. So then you can, again, you don't need to remember all of them, but to create a story, to get comfortable, then if they ask you and you just like bubble and don't know what to say. So choose 1 or 2 extensions from each of this category. I create for you audio, video, image, game, executable files, web files, and then not just then you hang yourself, but then you remember 1 or 2 of each category, and anytime when they, you know, just so give you some surprise questions. So what file so you know what file extension you know, or with what audio file extension you work. So you just boom, and you give them answer without think twice. And it's a psychological point, because if you don't think twice and just give them immediate answer, it's mean, oh, then you know, because otherwise you will maybe look in the ceiling or whatever, just get red, start sweating and things like that. So if it's everything smooth, then so why should they dig so deeper to prove you wrong? No, they want just to catch, then you know this check mark, you know this check mark, that's it. So, okay, so by this time, after 1.5 hours, we should know a lot. So if you lost, I have some additional presentation on YouTube, I mean, where I may and bear a lot, but it was one of my first experience, but it's still on YouTube. So then just strictly related to terminology, and I hope that you will get this presentation. So, and if you're okay, I mean, we can talk more. This I create what I not cover in a lecture, so I create like as a helpful resources and links. So we can, these days it's more and more gain popularity. Okay, yeah, naturally when people talk, they talk in compare and talk about so iOS and Android, but at this day, when we talk about mobile testing, it's more and more this come under consideration, such as operating system as a Windows Phone and BlackBerry. So in my company, I work with mobile devices every day. So we always take at least 4 under consideration in any project. And then this day, so when Sharon was talking about Tizen, so it's come on the market too, and it's come from primarily from Asian market, but so it's a very good system. And if you see, so let's talk about this little bit more. So we have still 25 minutes. If you're okay with that, give me hands. Yes, no. or you just read it afterwards? I mean, you can do this by yourself. Yes, yes, yes. All right, good. Are you guys okay here too?
Yes.
All right. So I already mentioned then got this field to talk about Windows Mobile, but Windows Phone as a mobile operating system was derived, so developed by Microsoft. Oh, okay, cool. So and it's successor of Windows Mobile Platform. Although this is not incompatible, it's really funny things. So when we talk, currently it's VP8, but the previous version was 7.5 Mango. So and it was introduced some special metro system. It's a one of distinguished feature of mobile phones. So and you know this how is it this mobile phones, if you see this timeline, it's come first in 2010. They're just like a baby. So and actually I think this they doing very well. So if, just in 2.5 years, I mean, yeah, 2 years. So but breakthroughs happened in 2011 when Windows Phone became a primary smartphone operating system for Nokia. So Nokia is just say goodbye to Symbian, so they was sick of unsuccessful stories with that. So, and distinguished feature of when we talk about operating system for Windows Phone, it will be again so Silverlight, CNA, and HTML, JavaScript. So we don't go really like, you know, kernel things. Yeah, they have everything is so Microsoft related. So nobody really will go so deep, you know. But very good, and I just again testify this implementation. So Xena related to clouds integration of Xbox Live. So and it's just primarily so gaming related stuff. Silverlight related to graphic and so video distribution things. In HTML, this it's distribution of flexible applications, so this compatibility for every devices at the same time. So when we talk about top 5 Windows Phone browsers, UC browser is the most popular, but it's again it's in China it's number 2. So next, Beyond and Metro is gained popularity. I actually need to replace it a little bit higher. So, but it's one of the, you know, like, so Metro was main things in Windows 8. So I just see it by screen. So when you look job description, when you look requirements, you see the keyword like Visual Studio 210, or Windows Phone Emulator, or Silverlight, or CNA 4.0. So you immediately aware if it's a red flag for you, then somehow this company are really interested in Windows development, so in Windows Phone development, so you start to dig in this direction. BlackBerry is long on the market, and it was primarily this always like heavy point enterprise phone. It was like never for entertainment. So, and the app store was very poor, and actually they do right now really huge effort to involve this development, so to develop more so apps for BlackBerry. I read they promote, you know, this, they offer $10,000 for developers if they create some special native, so like new edition, so for native BlackBerry apps, and it will meet all requirements. So, but primarily this they was very cool because they support multiple corporate emails. So have very advanced some MIDP system. It's right now MIDP 2. So and they was synchronized with Microsoft Exchange, with Lotus Domino, so with all this special corporate emails, calendars, so task notes. So there was like very perfect instrument, mobile instrument for management. So and you also need to be aware then when somebody will ask you for what is the platform on BB, it's not just BB or RIM, because RIM it's a so research in emotion, it's a it's a trend name. BB, BlackBerry, it's just like device names, but when we talk about platform, it's a BB QNX platform, also Linux related, so the kernel is Linux. So yeah, it's a lot of different schema. That's how its BBX look like. I think this one is most so easy to understand. And again, you see that after this BBX so involved heavily and relate on Adobe. So plus we have this keyword with HTML, and so they also use WebKit. So this special icon, this one is for WebKit layout engine. So then it's how they gain so start and gain popularity again. So in just for comparison, so for example in 2011 they have like 300 to 500 application. So at this time, so year after last number I was looking in November, so it was already 7,000 application. I think they're doing great job. So this it just takes them time. So and another point, you know, like everybody can ask me like, okay, who care about BlackBerry? It's a dying thing. It's not, because they one of innovator and a new technology, and it's called EMO. Devices, when you use your biorhythmic and some special emotion detectors involved in your device, then you can just create a new way as social network and just like transfer your emotion as a messages. I know it sounds completely futuristic and crazy, so but I will spend time about so for these things later, and you can also dig information more. But I think it's like very promising breakthrough. You know, when they come on the market and they plan this, I think by the end of this year or maybe first quarter of 2014, come with the first MO phone, then you know I think it will be cool. So I cannot wait to see it. So. See. So, Tizen, my favorite. You know this, again, nobody knows this name, but if you see I create some little bits pattern, how the Tizen was created. So everybody know Intel. Intel is a like huge company. Everybody know Nokia, Maemo. It was a very successful project back in 2010. So, because they cannot compete so with Android and iPhone, they decide to create Linux Foundation MeGo. So, but again, after half year it was not successful, then they consolidate with Linux Mobile plus get Samsung Beta, and from all these giant guys, specifically to come from the Asia, they created Tizen. It's why this things is actually very, very promising, because it's not just the names, but you think this assets of all these companies behind all this company. So this so they try to just to get compatible, to gain piece of cake. So and be compatible worldwide, if not America-wide. So with Android and with iPhones. So. Yeah, here's just more information about this. I don't know. I mean, you know, sometimes I feel stupid if I read your slide and you can read this by yourself. That's like, why should I read it? So, but I really encourage you to see this YouTube video. I think it's very cool. They show this, so this special UI for Tizen. So. And here this as well, that you know many people just so look Linux as an abstract. So everybody know Linux as a like some kind of code or something. So or almost consider this some programming language or something. So but I think it's a very good short video for 3 minutes. Then you can watch on YouTube, and it gives you like broad picture of what is really Linux is built and how it's look like. So you can just refer to this video later. So, and Linux, you know, this it's again, it's a wrong, just think about Linux as a just small part of operating system, something universal, small kernel part of operating system. So, because it can be used in many different, under many different levels. So, and again, it's the strongest in China as operating system, so used by Motorola. So it's in Japan, it's one of the, so you know, this operating system #1 because of Docomo. So, and rather being platform of own right, it's also, so this use a number of huge operating system and several vendor. So we already talked about Android. So boot together, it's a very promising so project, so the start from Firefox, Mozilla. So we have Limo, Maemo, MeGo, and Qt Extended is actually very popular for most technical end, so in United States, if we work with server and the clouds companies. Okay, so another this things, I'm always get excited from this open source new technology because people don't know about that, but sooner or later, it will be boom. It's like, what? It's already exists and exists for last 5-6 years. Cool. So, and its idea was promote long time, so to create some platform which is completely based on the web, so not related to some hardware at all. And first, it's starting. The promise is we're experimenting with Firefox and Mozilla because they started using this HTML5 techniques and device and APIs. So then you can just write a code so using the internet base, so JavaScript primarily is what they use, and create so just straight this I had this, I don't know, from the air. I mean, it sounds like fantastic every time I say it, but yeah, it's a platform create in the air from the air. So it's a web platform. And sooner or later it will be overcome. Yeah, it's another thing. This nobody know yet. So, but it's one of the first platform. It's Alun. So it's a South Korea platform that completely cloud-based. And can you imagine then they just say then it's offer customer 100 gigabyte storage. So this, and it's enormous. Just you buy some small device. Okay, what is the best device on the market? So and you pay money for that. It's like 64 gigabytes. So if it's cloud storage, then in the beginning, they first phone, so give you a service and provide you storage for 100 gigs. So this you can put in your primary, so this like your name file, some private special piece of your cloud. So this storage information up to 100 gigabytes. I think it's cool. Yeah, and actually this in South Korea, I think they like completely wacko and the crazy people live there. And I, sometimes I was like, man, I wish I'd be part of this. So, and it somehow come to United States closer and faster because look, so they just turn, for example, Chinese gadget maker Hair, which is very well known just, for refrigerator conditioner and home theaters. So they created first waterproof, so mobile phone. And I was like, when I was looking about it, like, man, I want this one because we go to the ocean all the time and my son loves to surf and make a picture at the same time. So for your own mind exercise and find platform and explore, so then there's around world more interesting platform which absolutely like don't know any, nobody knows this in United States, but for example, GridOS or Mare project. So Mare project is related to Tizen. GridOS is very so in professional world, so people know this name in United States. So it's hence for you that to explore this and talk about specifically during interview to show this so how advanced and what so special you can offer for the companies when they will hire you. Okay, so I also create bunch of different comparisons of application framework comparison tables and so on and so on. So you can just check this later if you want, if you have a time. At this point, thank you everybody, and we're pretty much done.